Hey, what's going on, guys? I got a special guest here today. He's deeply invested in LinkedIn marketing. It's Indrek Poldvee. He's the founder of B2B Growth, which focuses on companies and personal brands on LinkedIn. Indrek, I'm so excited to have you on the podcast today because we're going to learn about Estonia, we're going to learn about entrepreneurship, and we're going to learn about LinkedIn. So, where did you get stuck? Like, why Estonia and what makes Estonia unique?
Yeah, so first of all, really appreciate you inviting me, Jordan. It's fantastic to be in this podcast and yeah, so Estonia. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people have no clue about this country.
I, I
We
traveled, I was
Yeah,
traveling for 7 weeks in Europe. Estonia never popped on the radar.
yeah, yeah. It's because we are very close to the Soviet border, so we have a borderline with Russia, and also and then our other neighbors are Finland and Latvia. So and again, like most people have never heard about it. I am from the capital, Tallinn, and the country has the let's say 1.2 million population, and have close to 600,000 is in the capital. So
Oh,
it's,
wow.
it's a it's a small country, and most of things happen in capital, and yeah, so that's that's like a very small rough introduction to the Estonian culture.
Absolutely. And when we did our intro call, what really cultivated me or interested me was the entrepreneurial culture that Estonia has. So, where did
Mhm.
that come from?
Yeah. So sorry for the listeners already. It's going to be a long-winded answer, so stick with me. So the thing is with the Estonian and all the Eastern Europe part, like I think I don't know if a lot of people know, but we were under Soviet Union from 45 to 91. And so we have had our freedom like 30 years or so. And under Soviet Union, the problem was like it was very challenging, to be honest. And the thing is with like this was in the 80s. Like when you went to store, the store was empty, and you can buy stuff only with a coupon, etc. Like we had like 100 people lines waiting for the bread, and when you have a coupon, you get the bread, and if you didn't have, you couldn't get it, and so it was like crazy stuff like this happening. And in these times also, a lot of people, they like, what do you say, I scratch your back, you scratch my back, and etc. So and when Estonia became free, so it was like a wild west a little bit, like, because we were just founding our own national currency. There was nothing like we didn't have a government correctly, and etc, but we fought for our freedom. Oh, this is also an interesting fact for your listeners. Estonia, how we got our freedom, that's we are called in Europe the singing nation. We had our song festival. We had like over a couple of 100,000 people participating. We have it in every 4 years, like the Olympics. And then we had in Estonia, we have the neighbors is Latvia and Lithuania. We are called the Baltic states, and we had a human chain, hand chain, through all three countries in the 90s. So that was also in the news, and we got covered. So this was also part of the freedom. So we had like all this three country full of people were holding hands like for one day. So it was
Oh
like
my
a
God.
human chain. So so we had all those things happening, and when we got the freedom, so as I mentioned, it was like the wild west. And then people needed to be entrepreneurial to survive. That was also one of the things that, as I mentioned, in the Russian times, we everybody needed to know some things to do. Like if the car broke down, you couldn't call a repairman, you need to fix it yourself. If there's something was happening with the plumbing, you needed to fix it yourself. Like there were no, like, so to say, all the time handyman, etc, people available. So my parents and etc, everybody fixed their own stuff and built their own homes and etc. So that is also, that is like, how can I say, sometimes it's an advantage, sometimes a disadvantage, because disadvantage is people didn't know how to ask for help. So this was the
Yeah.
mindset a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you think about that, if people are in the beginning and they're always utilizing everybody else, if they're not utilizing everybody else, they have to do everything on their own, which is what a lot of us did when America was founded. It was the 1700s, late 1800s. Everyone's a farmer. Everyone's got to cook their own food, like do their thing. Now, fast forward 200 years, we go to food stores, we do all these different things. And it's funny because as you do that, then you start to become realizing the skill sets that each of the individuals has. But when you're entrepreneurial, you kind of got to do all of that. So I get where the culture comes from. It's a very interesting proposition there.
Yeah, and again, if there are some Estonians listening, then again, I'm telling my version of the story. There are a lot of gaps and stuff that I might not know, and etc. And then, but again, like when we got the freedom, our government was quite active, and again, like they knew that we couldn't catch up with a lot of countries, that we needed to differentiate with others before, because before, like the Soviet Union got us, like there were like we were quite highly developed society, because Estonian had more people who could read and write than I think in Finland or Sweden,
Oh,
and we
wow.
had quite a lot of like this manufacturing. So the government issued, like they started the program. It's called Tiger Jump, and what it meant, it started to teach children coding in our very early classes. And we had like these computers called Yukus. So these were like very like yeah, basic computers. But the kids learned the coding, and thanks to that, like 2002 or 2004, Estonians founded a company called Skype.
Oh,
So, and that
wow.
was our biggest, so to say, success stories in the entrepreneurship world, and people started to believe that everybody can do it, and that was like also like a huge beacon of light for a lot of people, that wow, entrepreneurship, startups, and all these things, that started to grow a lot.
Yeah. And if you look at the population of Estonia and how many companies there are, how many businesses, it's pretty incredible. And to have a business like Skype that billions of dollars, unicorn, like it's a very confidence building thing. So I share that just for the audience. When a lot of us think about these situations where we see ourselves or we see someone who struggled even more than us, it's like, oh, that's possible. And now for Estonia, they
Mm.
finally have that beacon of hope. Someone who's casual like them, who's done the challenging thing. And now it inspires people to go, I can build a business too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, and I think Skype was the incubator of in Estonia. So thanks to Skype, they got a lot of traction, they got a lot of investments, and then they hired the best people to come to Estonia, and they teach the Estonians inside Skype like how to develop, how to manage, and da da da. Da. So they got a lot of skills, and the next like 6 7 years, whenever you went to a pitching competition, I think Skype was sold like in 2010 or 11 or something like that, and then the next like 4 or 5 years at least, like I think 90% of the pitches, when you listen to them, were like, I'm the ex-employee of Skype, I'm the ex-employee of Skype. So like you
Yeah.
get all the time, like all, and these people were super amazing, and thanks to them, like they built another unicorns, and to date I think we have 11 or maybe 12 unicorns, and I know at least 2 or 3 companies who will become unicorns in the next 1 to 2 years. So unicorns are billion dollar valuation companies, and we are number one in the world per people. Like we have the most unicorns per people.
Which
So
is
so
that's incredible.
yeah,
It's very uncommon, but
yeah.
I want this to kind of be a point for everyone that when you surround yourself with like-minded people, so basically the country of Estonia is kind of an epicenter for entrepreneurship. So if everyone is doing entrepreneurship, they're all sitting around there learning from everybody all the time,
Mm,
seeing these different ways of thinking, it causes people to level up. So for you, the audience, when you guys are listening, it's what groups or what communities can I get in to level up where I want to be at? Because
mm.
sometimes it's you change your environment will change everything for you.
Oh, 100% true. And again, like it's not as rosy as everything like is growing and happening here. it's cool things to say about Estonia. These things happen, entrepreneurship, and also with what I want to definitely mention is Estonian e-government. So what it means, like people around the world, they can sign up and become Estonian e-resident. So we are only country in the world, I think, right now who offers e-residency, and it doesn't mean that you can get the citizenship of this country, but you get registered yourself. They send you a identification card, and you can sign documents with it. You can open a company in Estonia. There are over 30,000 companies that are registered already. And again, like it's the way of thinking, like our population is like growing very slowly, and it was negative. The growth was
Yeah.
like some years ago, and then again, you start to think, what can we do, how we can increase our growth, and then hey, let's do an e-residency. Basically, yes, our country is still small, but again, like there is a lot of countries where people want to go away and then maybe migrate to Estonia or open a company here, and etc. etc. So this is our, so to say, worldwide advantage. Let's be extremely digital, because for example, electronic voting has gone up, gone. We have been electronically, so to say, done voting from 2003 or four, and
Oh,
also I
wow.
think this is also really cool. I can do my taxes in maybe 3 to 4 minutes. It will take yeah, because every so to say, everything is digital. So I just log into my tax office account. I select yes, yes, yes. Maybe I need to add a couple of things, and then most of the time, maximum 5 minutes.
Wow. Wow. And that's a fascinating thing that the entire country thinks in this capacity because they realize what advantages can we have that we don't have. Like
Hmm.
we don't have a lot of space, we don't have that big of a population, but if we start a mark digitally, everyone's on the internet.
Oh
Like we're
yeah.
talking right now through the computer, and it's like we're all on the internet. So why not capitalize on that and promote that in some sort of capacity, which is fascinating to me. That
Hmm.
the government is so forward thinking and that yeah, it's just really fascinating. So with your career, how did this kind of open your eyes? Like where did you start and then how'd you get into entrepreneurship for yourself?
Yeah, yeah, the entrepreneurship, it's a long time, so to say, path. You know, it's doesn't happen overnight, because again, like now that, like yes, we are talking about entrepreneurship and etc. But again, like most of we peoples, depending on the age, their parents are not extremely supportive of entrepreneurship, because again, like you need to have a safe job, you need to have safe this, like don't start an entrepreneur and etc. etc. My parents are something similar, so it become like they don't understand what I do. They know I do something, but still they would be more happier if I had a very soft and cushy job in some office, so to say, because then they can tell people like he works in that office or that building or something like that. Because right now everything is quite remote, and sometimes traveling, sometimes doing other things. So uh, and what you said before, like finding the surround yourself with people who are similar to you, and smarter, and also who are more positive, positive people. Like this has also been a struggle for me, because again, finding the relevant people who will support you, and sometimes you only need one person who believes in you, and then
Yeah.
then you can start. So I found that person, and thanks to these amazing people, I went into the startup journey in 2015. So we had a company, and okay, now it's going to sound. The name of the company was Sorry as a Service.
That's funny.
So, yeah. So and in short, so technical people and founders understand that. So short, it's a SaaS.
Yeah.
So it's because normally people say SaaS companies or software as a service. So we had Sorry as a service.
Oh, I get what you're saying. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. So software as a service, what is that just for the audience to understand just briefly if they don't know?
Yeah, so software as a service are companies that are technical. So basically, uh, whatever app or whatever you can imagine, like they are called software as a service, but sorry as a service, what we did, sorry as a service, we had a company that we sent from the customer to say thank you or sorry if something went wrong. So basically we had a customers in UK, and for example, delivery company was our customer, and then when they missed a delivery or something like that, they sent sorry to the customer, etc. They closed the account, and then they had a small button inside their CRM, the customer service and management system, that I want to say thank you, or I want to say sorry. And then they wrote a message and, hi, Jordan, really sorry that this happened, or Jordan, thank you for your patience with us. And then we sent a handmade cookie or a handmade card or something like that. It went to the customer home. So and we saw a huge increase of the positive support that the customers had to that company.
Wow. No, because it's true. It's recognition and people realizing that, hey, if you recognize me, and even when people own up to their mess ups, which is huge. If a company is willing to do that and you guys had that sorry as a
Yeah.
service, you kind of sit there and go, here's your cookie, or here's your sorry card, or your whatever. We really hope that it doesn't affect anything. And if it does,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
okay too.
And it was really cool to see the people's reactions, because people really thought that the bigger companies sending them. And then there also we found out, like saying sorry, it's when you are in the UK, people say sorry about everything. Like if they and it's so elevated, or the word doesn't mean sorry anymore. It's like people say whatever you do, like sorry, but it's saying sorry is actually a huge art to say sorry, because again, like if it's not your fault but the people think it's your fault, then I actually don't say sorry, and I say thank you for your patience. But if it's my fault and I did it, then I say sorry. And like there are different ways to how to say sorry. And also when you're sending something to people to say sorry about or thank you about, like thank you, Jordan, for having me this podcast, etc. It doesn't matter the value of what you are sending. It really matters that you did it by hand, or you hand. If you send like a $500 gift, or you send a handwritten note, the handwritten note actually is more emotional. The gift, you might go wrong, or you might go like randomly, etc. If you send a gift basket and there is nothing, that's okay. But if you send a handwritten note and no basket, trust me, the handwritten note has bigger emotions than it's handwritten, because people think, wow, Jordan really took time, hand wrote it, and etc. And it's how can I say, it's still a huge advantage if you do these things in this digital age.
Yeah, because a lot of people are going so above and beyond and they don't even consider it. And they're just like, you're a customer. Like what I end up doing is when I get clients or anything, or maybe I have to skip a meeting or something comes up or I'm away, I'll send them something just on Amazon because Amazon can do it in one day. And I don't need to hire a whole like sorry as a service. But it makes sense. Um, and I would just pick an item out that once I get to know them a little bit, I'll pick an item that I think would be valuable. You can get there in one day. And I'm like, whoa. And people get their items and they're like, whoa, thank you. Like that made me feel good. And I'm like, there we go. That's all I was trying to do.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it makes
but
a lot of sense.
for you, maybe test it. I would really recommend to buy like 10 cards, and then and also listeners, whoever, if you like see the reactions, especially I think it's especially in US, you guys appreciate these things a lot more. Like buy 10 cards, write a thank you note for your customers, for your so to say people that you work together, or with whoever. It doesn't mean like a matter, like, but
I
take
got them.
10
I got
cards. Yeah,
them.
exactly. You have them. So take 10 cards, just write a really nice thank you letter. Hey, I appreciate that you are in my life. I appreciate that, or working with you. Just want to say really thank you. Put your name and mail it, and see the reactions. The best thing that I did, especially with this new company that I have, I have a daughter, and when she was like 3 years ago, 10 years old, she likes to paint, so she painted. I told her, hey, I hire you basically. She painted like 6 7 cards, and then I also, because my handwriting is quite terrible, ask her, hey, can you handwrite these things inside the cards? And then we posted to my partners, and then they were really really amazing. They sent thank you videos. They sent stuff back. So it was so amazing because these are emotional things that you do, and you just say thank you. You don't need to sell anything. You don't need to do anything. Just say you thank you, and trust me that. And if it's handwritten, it matters a
It
lot to
goes
people.
absolutely, absolutely. And another easier one that I do usually around the holidays is I'll
Mm,
do video voice messages. So it takes 30 seconds, it's personalized, it's your voice, and it just give them some recognition. I'm not saying I'm selling anything, but just say, hey, like Jordan, like you're doing amazing, like hope all is well, like, and I would do that, and the responses
mm,
were insane because everyone always wants to mirror and match
exactly.
how you made them feel, which is funny.
Exactly. And another thing to just adding there is something we learned also. I do not recommend, the videos are amazing in holiday, but I do not recommend to send any gifts or stuff on the holiday stuff because the thing is, for example, I'm talking about the business to business partnership, etc. For example, if you're working with an agency or if you're working with a company, look at how many gifts they are getting in Christmas time. Everybody's sending them. They have like maybe
Infrequent.
20, 40, 50 gifts. Whatever you send, they don't see it. But if you send it a month before or 2 months after, if you send in February, hey Jordan, I just wanted to say thank you for your amazing last year, and I just wanted to send you a gift, and you're always in my thoughts. Whatever your partners, trust me, nobody sends gifts in February or end of middle of January or something like that. And because Christmas time is over and then a surprise comes, trust me, it has much more benefits than you sending on Christmas time.
100%. The surprise component is massive. The other big thing about the surprise component is when you get when people have no idea and the prices are better on everything.
Hmm.
Everything's
No,
just
no.
cheaper. Yeah, because they just blow up the prices. So would you end up doing after that, or how did that one finish up?
Yeah, so with that company, we didn't have wild success. So 2019, there was another company, they bought us, and then yeah, it was 4 years how it was challenging, ups and downs, up and down. And it like I actually felt the true power of entrepreneurship because like like in the beginning you're highly motivated, and you just go from the energy because we paid ourselves minimum salary, and then it was, I burned out quite heavily in that startup because the crazy things, I mean, startup scenes, I think that's not talked a lot is the mental side, because a lot of investors, etc., they put you a huge, so to say, pressure that they don't say that they put the pressure, but you put the pressure on yourself because everybody's expecting you to become a new unicorn or 100 million year revenue company. And if you don't become, then it's this pressure that kills you. Like you think you're not performing, you're not giving your best, and
Well,
etc. etc. That's
you
crazy.
bring up you bring up these points, and it's funny because I was listening to this, and I spoke to my group last night, and we were kind of talking about this topic of happiness. And there was this podcast I listened to, and the guy was the Google. He was the chief business officer for Google X,
Mhm.
and what he talked about was the happiness formula, and it was event minus expectations. So the event there is have a wildly success. The event is you living your life building the startup. The
Yeah,
expectations are have $100 million business. You're going to be unhappy. Like you will
yeah,
be unhappy if you use that formula. Because the reason I'm sharing the formula is because it was so relevant. And when we sit there and really think about it, like happiness equals the event we had
mhm,
minus the expectations we had. So if the event exceeds the expectations, then we always have a great experience. Now, when
mm,
we get money in a startup and there's investment, the pressure's mounting because the expectations are so high
yeah.
that it's almost to the point where the event cannot oversee the expectations.
Exactly. And then you're pushing and everything happens in your mind. And the challenge is, again, like I mentioned also in Estonia, not a lot of parents or older generation people, they don't know what is a startup, what is a new enterprise. They want to work in a new safe, cushy job, like you have fixed income and etc. You Everybody knows what's happening and you could build a career. But again, entrepreneurs are a little bit differently wired, I think. and again, like, but the challenge is if you don't have the right people, so to say, surrounding you, you have nobody to talk to, and if you don't have nobody to talk to, all the things in your mind, you keep them, and it goes worse and worse and worse and worse, and then I burned out quite heavily in
No,
2018, like
oh
really heavy.
wow. I know I'm the reason I'm smiling, kind of like putting this all together, is because with Edwards Consulting, that's what we did. Like it's
Mm.
literally meetings of entrepreneurs or individuals who are in their business, entrepreneurs or salespeople or whoever, like people that want to better their life. Because there's so many times where you don't get to have that
Yeah.
conversation, like you're saying. And so, what happened after the burnout in 2018?
Yeah, so or 2017 or something like that. So yeah, then I burned out like quite heavily, and the thing that got me out was gratitude. So this journal. There is a really cool gratitude book, 5 minute 5 minute gratitude or 5 minute journal. Oh, that was the name. 5 minute journal. I listen to a lot of podcasts. Like Tim Ferriss is my favorite right now, like a long time. So and he said he's using it, and then I ordered it, and after 2 months, 3 months, I had the gratitude, so to say, task that every morning I was grateful about three things, what I want to do
Yeah.
today, what I did well today. So and then I got out of my head, like, because a lot of focus, why I burned out was because I focused on other people and other companies, like they are more successful than me, they have better blah blah blah. So like I think 30-40% of my brain activity went to that. But with gratitude, I found like I still have legs, I still have arms, I still have eyes, I have functioning brain a little bit, like whatever, how it works. And I can still do a lot of things. And then that helped me. And then I started my own podcast about entrepreneurship in Estonia, in Estonian language. And then I started to surround myself with the right, correct people and bond relationship like that. And that really helped me to get over the burnout. It took about like 2 years or 2.5 years before I felt like, okay, now you have the energy again. You have like there's still challenges, but again, like it's you face them, and the biggest thing that the gratitude did, you didn't have problems anymore, you had just challenges that you needed to overcome. So it's like a different or challenges or opportunities. So you started to see like all the people were before also there, but with you thinking negatively, you don't see these opportunities, you don't see these people. But if you start to think positively, you're grateful for what you have. And I want to say I'm not religious or anything, just the gratefulness. I think
No,
it's so
I
powerful, and
I,
then things work.
I completely agree with the gratitude, because when you're grateful, you can't be angry. You don't have anxiety. You're not thinking about other people. You're actually supportive. It's like,
Hmm.
I'm grateful for my existence. And if you're doing great, amazing. Because the whole thing about like comparison's the thief of joy, it's so true. And especially when you're always judging yourself like, oh, we just started at the same time. I should be further ahead. And it's like, further ahead in what? And
Yeah,
it's like when money is the only answer, like the real thing I think is really building a lifestyle that you want that allows you to cultivate a happiness. Because there's so many times where we focus so hard on just, I want to do this, I want to do that.
yeah.
Great. But like, how do you want to build the lifestyle you want? So how did you start taking steps in those directions?
Yeah, so again, like I 100% agree with you, and again, like it was the gratitude. The thing is, like you started to do new things, and then you enjoy the journey and not the mountain you conquer. And then the thing, it doesn't mean you don't have ambitions. It's just if you don't achieve these things that you wanted, it's also okay. You say like it's I still, and that is why I'm mentioning Tim Ferriss. I think I have many quotes from there, but I really loved his way of thinking of life is, for example, if you start a new project or if you start a new company or you invest money in something and let's say it goes horribly, you have an amazing story to tell. If it goes well, then you have okay story to tell, because all the stories that where it's a happy ending, these are nice to hear, but all the best stories are when you have failed miserably, or when you and also the thing is, I really, so to say, remove the word the failure or failing from my vocabulary, and I'm it's all experimentation. So life is experimenting. So this is the thing. Like I'm experimenting a lot, And right now also in what I do, I try to experiment every day something. So in other terms, I try to fail every day a little bit, because that is the fastest way you can learn. If you constantly test and see the problem, the thing is, you need to learn from those things what you experiment. That is the main thing, that you always need to learn from them. So this was my path also. So I started to learning, I started to do, and then 2019 we sold the startup, and then I started this new company, B2B Growth, which focuses on LinkedIn. So that's basically.
Yeah, it's incredible. And I think the major thing is just really focusing on how the perspective needs to be in the proper use, and how it's not failure, but it's learning, and it's also skill acquisition. Like a lot of us don't talk about that, but when you think about it, like say you went through something and it failed or it didn't work out the way you wanted to. Well, I did learn a new skill. And it's like,
Mm,
what skill did you learn? And like, once we start realizing that everything is just skill acquisition, whether it's us on a podcast, or it's learning Muay Thai, or it's learning LinkedIn, or it's all just skills. And you only learn by getting reps.
yeah.
And once we realize that, it's like, okay, like that didn't work out. Cool. I learned a new skill, and now I'm ready to apply that skill somewhere else. And it doesn't mean that you're like every time you have to restart. It's just as you put yourself in that brain of like, I need to learn, it forces us to grow and continue to progress, which I think is amazing. So I think that's awesome. So for you, what was the idea around B2B growth? What were you thinking, and like how's it been, and why LinkedIn? Where's
Mm.
the opportunity there?
Yeah, yeah. No, and the points, that the opportunities that you mentioned is so true, because again, like, I think a lot of people don't have the mindset of I see it a lot. Like, people say, "Oh shit, I failed and I'm not good," and the inner talk that you start in yourself, that's like I had it also,
A great
and
indicator,
yeah,
the
it's
way you
so
speak to
so
yourself.
crazy. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so crazy how people, and I totally understand that, because I had the same. Because like if you will approach me 2016 2017 talking about gratitude and all this, I would say, hey, like, go and talk to somebody else. Like, I don't believe in those things. And again, like, and it is difficult to listen to people who say, oh, be grateful and everything is good, and etc. Yeah, no, it's like challenges happen and shitty times happen, and it doesn't mean that there are no shitty times anymore. It's just you can recover faster from them. And again, like, if you have a positive mindset, and the mindset is not like, oh, how I have failed, but actually how I can see an opportunity, it just opens up new possibilities. So I just wanted to
Yeah, yeah,
wanted to
no,
add that
100%.
point.
I mean, the one other thing I was going to add is I think the biggest flaw that a lot of people have is their definitions. So, like,
Yeah.
we have definitions for a lot of things that are very vague, which cause us to kind of sit there and not know exactly what it takes or what it's required. So, like, one of the easiest ones I've been talking about a lot is like the good day versus bad day. So, like, when someone gives me their definition of a good day, it's like, here, you can do it. Like, what's your definition of a good day?
For me, oh, just even if I wake up and have a smile in my face and just go, and that's already a good day.
So that's it. That's the answer. There's some people you ask, what's your definition of a good day? And I ask and I share this with the audience because I know this is super valuable. Like, you should go out there and ask someone what their definition of a good day is. And if they
Mm.
tell you, like, oh, I have to work out, feel accomplished, sell a deal, do all this, then by the end of the day, you're like, dude, that's a lot to do. And like
Oh,
that qualifies as a good day. And then when you ask someone like, what's their definition of a bad day? They'll
mm,
usually make it like super easy, like, I got angry.
mm,
That's okay. Like, but a bad day should actually be really hard to attain. So like for me, it's like, and Tony Robbins talks about this, it's
mm.
someone close to me passes away. That's the only time you have a bad day. Because like when people come home from work and they're like, this person yelled at me, blah, 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 I had a bad day. It's like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. Like,
Mm.
you didn't have a bad day. You had a great day, and there were some things that bothered you, and
Oh
you
yeah.
sat in there and didn't do anything. You let them bother you. So the whole point of this is that you have to take control of your life, and you create how you feel. So if you want to be upset, go be upset. But I'm letting you know that you create that.
Oh
So
yeah, 100%. But it's easy to say that, and because again, like, it's the same when you do a training and there are maybe 100 people listening, and then 99 say you did an amazing job, and for the feedback, and one person said, oh, gives 1 out of 10, and the others are like 9 and 10s. You focus on the one. Like
Yes.
90% of people. So the thing is also with the same of the day-to-day life. If you have an amazing day, and then there is some person, somebody who will disturb all your day, it doesn't matter how amazing your day is. It's really really difficult to control that, and sometimes it's just letting it go. And because I think this is history is one of the best songs. Is, I don't know if you know the Disney's Elsa, the cartoon, and there she sings "Let It Go," the song. I have my daughter.
Yeah.
We watched the movie 100 times, but I think the message of the song is perfect, because let it go. Like, some things you cannot change, just let it go and let it go and let it go, multiple times in your head, and it goes away. Like, if you can.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the other thing is realizing that you can only control you.
Yeah,
So like I
exactly.
can't control how people react to me. If people react in a sort of way, but like once you come to the conclusion of that, it's like
Mm.
sometimes you say hi to someone and they tell you to kick rocks, and you're like, okay, man, that's all good. Like, you have your own stuff going on. I'm not gonna get in the way of that. Seems like exciting
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it's fascinating, and how you can develop. But again, like, it's not as easy as you say. Theoretically, it's 10 times easier than practically. You need to put a lot of work on it, and I'm sure
yeah,
with your coaching and everything, there are still, like, you need to do the gratitude or journaling or whatever
well,
the methodology is. You need to do it.
well, it's that, but I also think the idea is simple, like you said, but it's the conditioning of your mind. So as you wake up and you start applying this everywhere you go, like you have someone call, like I had some guy call me. I was calling different people, and he calls me and he's like, yeah, man, like, why'd you call me? And I was like, oh, to offer you this thing. And he's
Mm,
like, oh, well, I was never on your list. I didn't do that. He was in a very fast, aggravated state. I'm like, okay, man, no worries. Like, because you just have to realize, like, there's no point in trying to fight with everyone or fight with anyone. And it's just like, if they're not in the right place, they're not in the right place. But you just have to have an understanding that you can only control you. And if you want to work on that, fantastic. And like that's kind of all I'm offering. Because Indrek, you're right. It's not just flip a switch. I'm suddenly the happiest guy ever. It's like, no, it takes time. And like as you build up the skill set of mental resilience, pretty much, it like helps build you up. So I know we're winding down. Let's get into it. What's going on with LinkedIn? What's going on with B2B growth? I'm loving the way this conversation's going, by the way.
no, great. No, same here. And again, like, as I mentioned, like in 2019, when we sold the company, I didn't know what to do. I had like 3 months of so to say savings in
Sabbatical.
my bank account.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, 3 months. So I needed to think what I'm doing. A friend of mine recommended that, hey, there is no LinkedIn expert in Estonia. So, and then I started to check in, and then and again, like, LinkedIn is the world's biggest business to business sales and recruitment tool, and actually in Estonia, not a lot of people use it correctly. And then that's where I saw the opportunity. So yeah, so been focusing on that, and I love the remote stuff that we have been available to do. Like, the COVID was actually, so to say, a positive and negative, but in COVID time, we saw that actually you can work wherever you can, if you can build that kind of a. And I see the opportunity right now in LinkedIn also, like a lot of sales and personal branding, and right now we are focusing quite a lot of employer branding, which is really super important, because Estonian companies, they also so to say, fight for the same employees with the US companies, with Amazon, with Microsoft. They are the same people that you are fighting, basically, and most of the people you're hiring through LinkedIn. So we are there to assist them to how to can stand out, and etc. So we focus on that.
And what are some of these tricks that the audience could take away that on LinkedIn? Because I know some people go to it just when it's job time or when they want to change a job. Like, is that the approach, or is there a better way of doing this?
Oh, so yeah. So you don't want me to talk about the LinkedIn stuff? I can talk. Like, then the podcast will go like through 3 or 2 days. But just to give you an example, because we're working with days, with bigger companies, and one of the things that I see that a lot of companies, they don't know. is about company pages. They have very few companies have a strategic approach to company accounts, like who was the target audience, what they want to say, then writing it about topics about themselves, and then also having a really clear background image. So for the personal pages and also company pages, these background images, they matter a lot. They are like free advertising banners where you can, if you're looking for a job, why not write there, hey, I'm looking for a job at this and this, so to say, job, or these are the titles that I want to go for. Like if a recruiter looks at your profile and see, hey, I'm really great at digital marketing or something like that, and then I also apply to the job. It makes it a little bit easier. And what we see is with the bigger companies where we have done over 1,000 profile makeovers in the last 3 years. And the
Oh,
biggest
wow.
thing is the background image and writing the right about section, etc. Because it takes about 8 to 9 hours to finish one profile, so to say, with the copywriting, etc. So it's not as easy to just, hey, I put a picture and then my profile is ready. So this is something I definitely not do not recommend, because it's an extremely strategic place. And also what I really need to think is the CEOs and the owners of the company, that they have really well written about sections and all the other things, because this is your online digital business card. Like, what is the online story about you? So what is the story that you want that your ideal audience will read about you? So having all these small things figured out, that I know it's again winded answer, but it just takes a little bit time. It's like playing chess with the people, and having a really cool online story.
Absolutely. But it's the diving into it and realizing that, like, I wanted people to listen to that and be like, wait a second.
Mm.
What does that even mean? I thought LinkedIn, I just post this. Because the thing is, like, when you talk to experts, it's like, whoa, there's a lot more to this thing. It's not as easy as just let me do this. And for you, Indrek, I know when we talked on the intro call, is there anything that you could provide or like gift to the audience?
Yeah, more than happy. So people who are listening and they see that what I'm talking, or the LinkedIn stuff, it's interesting, then I'm more than happy to give a free profile audit to people who want to connect with me, and then we can take the conversations. Because again, like, the reason why I am in this podcast and hopefully bringing enough value is, again, I'm as you heard, Estonia is quite small territory, so I'm trying to expand into the US, and getting some trust in the US market also.
Absolutely. So we'll put a link if you guys want to reach out to Indrek and do that complimentary analysis. Because what's going to end up happening is you'll get the insights on what you might be missing or what
Mhm.
might make it feel better. And what people don't realize is that when you're looking for jobs or clients or whatever, if you get one client or you get one new job and you get a $20,000 raise, you're like, worth it. Like, it's these little things that can really promote it. And a lot of people don't understand the little things. So I really appreciate that, Indrek. Is there anywhere else you want to direct people, and where can they learn more about B2B growth and everything going on there?
Oh, it's everything happens into the LinkedIn account. So we will add my LinkedIn profile. Just hit me up there. That is the best way to communicate. All my contacts and details are there, and that's the best way.
That's the easiest. I love it. I love it. Well, I super appreciate the time, and this has been fascinating, and I can't wait for everyone to hear it. Thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you also for your time. Really appreciate it.